Mr. Munjal is now with us. So if you could just talk to us about the growth in the electric vehicle, and we are talking about the financial year data that has come in. Mr. Naveen Munjal is with us. So if you could just tell us the 20% growth number, X of course this COVID impact, what is the sort of response that you've got?
So when we look at growth over last year, so when we look at the previous year, 1920 versus 1819, there has been substantial growth in the overall market. Now the vehicles have gone in terms of the vehicle usage. That's increasing. People are realizing the benefits of electric vehicles over other forms of commute. And what's going to happen going forward as well, what we see this year and onwards, post-COVID as well, is going to be for electric vehicles, we see there's going to be growth that happens further on. And that's going to be based on numerous factors. One of them being that public transport will not be able to handle the volume of people which are going to be able to move around and yet maintain social distancing. The second is going to be that important factor, that ease of use of these vehicles. Third factor, which is going to be very important, is people are going to downgrade the budgets. So earlier, luxury is going to get pushed off and lifestyle is going to get pushed off, and necessities are going to become a means of, is going to become more important at this point of time. So when we look at these factors, we believe that electric mobility, and if you look at the environment as a whole, if you look at the clear skies, etc., we believe that environment and we believe that electric vehicles will actually play a very important role going forward, and they potentially could be growth going forward. Absolutely.
Right. When we just talk about EVs, the more impact when we look at EVs, your sense is that the acceptance of EVs are increasing. Even in the premium segment, you expect this acceptance only to increase?
Yes, absolutely. So acceptance is already increasing. People who are using electric vehicles, and that's across the spectrum, they're all enjoying the experience of getting an electric vehicle. In terms of, and it's got numerous reasons for it. It could be ease of use. It could be the convenience that your battery is portable. You take your battery out. You don't go to a petrol station any longer. It could be a cost factor where it is more economical to run than an IC engine vehicle. Or it could be an environmental impact, as is the case when we see around the world, that people, when we look at we are doing a bit for the environment. So absolutely, people who are using these vehicles are talking positively about it, and that positivity is getting more and more customers. So even though there is less advertising as we are in the conventional sense, but nevertheless, the word of mouth is very strong, and the acceptability and usage of this is increasing exponentially. Absolutely.
Okay, hi Mr. Munjal, this is Mubina as well joining in. Now, I think the key issue with respect to EVs is, of course, battery utilization. Currently, very short range capacities are available for EVs. I mean, you can probably just do a quick run to your local grocery store. Long route EVs are still, not something that everybody is comfortable with, I suppose. What's your sense on that, Mr. Munjal?
Not at all. That's actually a myth which I would like to bust. Absolutely not the case. In fact, EVs actually become more efficient if you're running them over a longer distance. So if you're running them over 20, 30, 40 kilometers, because what happens is that generally an EV cost of purchase of an initial purchase price of an EV is slightly more than that of an IC engine of a comparable product. But in terms of the running cost is absolutely much lower. Now, in our range of products, and I can tell you from our perspective that we have various products which can cater to a customer who's using it for 60 kilometers a day or 120 kilometers and going even beyond that to maybe 150, 170 kilometers a day. So it depends on what kind of a user you are. You can choose how many batteries you have in your vehicle. So we are using lithium-ion batteries, and they're portable batteries. So you can have a one battery pack, which is going to give you about 60 kilometers, which is more than what the average user on a day-to-day uses. Or if you're an e-commerce delivery, or if you're doing in the delivery business, and we can give you two battery packs, which are going to give you over 100-kilometer range. Or in some of our vehicles, you could also have a 3 battery pack, which is going to give you about 150, 160-kilometer range. Now that is way more than what an average two-wheeler user, or even any other vehicle for that matter, uses on a day-to-day basis. So range is absolutely not a problem. And if you've got portable batteries, as we do across our range, portable batteries, so you could have, if you're going to be using them more, you could be charging it in your apartment or your office place, plugging it back into the vehicle and going with it. You don't need to stop anywhere, even to plug in to charge somewhere. So range is absolutely not a problem. And all of these vehicles, they work at city speeds. Not right now, but if you look at, pre-COVID, the city speeds of all our cities have come down dramatically. Bangalore is below 20, Delhi is somewhere close to 20, and the distance covered on a day-to-day basis on a two-wheeler is not that high. So these work perfectly in whether you look at it from a metro or you look at it from a tier 1 or a tier 2 city. They work perfectly well, absolutely without a problem. And they're green on top of that, and there is a benefit in terms of the total cost of ownership is low. So from every perspective, every which way you look at it, there is a benefit.
Okay, thanks for busting that myth actually. EVs are more efficient when run over the long distance, and yeah, of course, everybody knows the need to turn over to green energy, and EVs really do provide that important requirement when it comes to our future with respect to, clean air and energy usage.